Hey guys, what's up? Thought we would do a bit of a live at the moment because there's some pretty cool, interesting stuff happening. Just let me grab my sharing links here. This off to the side. Let some people tune in. Alright guys, we're posting a few groups, give a couple people a chance to jump on, and we'll jump into it. So we're gonna we'll do a bit of price action updates on BTC and stuff. So what we're looking at, what we were looking at earlier today. Okay, so I did a live stream earlier today as well to go over. So let me change this auto scale. So we did a live stream today, earlier today, probably about 10 hours ago, and at that point in time, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We were sitting around about this. We were sitting around about this price point here, and I drew up these arrows and went over all these possible outcomes and what we're going to be doing between each zone and what trade setups we can look at between each zone, so on and so forth. Now the interesting thing we want to be looking at, right now is we're approaching a relatively important level in the fact that guys who are short in the market at the moment or have been short in the market recently, they will have their stops above these levels here. So, you know, if you were trading from here, you're going to have, you know, if you were shorting around this point in the market, you're going to have stops here. You know, if you were shorting from these price points in the market here, you're going to have more stops around this level here. You're going to have more stops around this level here. And you're going to have more stops, obviously, back up here. Okay, so this is where the short people are going to have their stop losses at if they've been short in the market at different points throughout the market. As you can see, you generally have your stops above previous price action, because if your trade comes back and hits your stop loss above previous price action, it basically means that the trend is reversed and, you know, the trend is going the opposite way. So what we're approaching here at the moment with this price point is we're getting to this 4,400 level, okay, and just above 4,400 level is where people are going to have stops. Okay, so anyone that's entered in this price point in the market here from any of these recent moves down over the last, you know, over the last week or so, their stop losses are going to be around about that 4,400 level, 44, 44.50. Okay, a cool page to follow. I'll post it up in the chat. Is BitMEX Rect. What it basically is it shows you a whole bunch of different It's a BitMEX liquidation bot, so it shows you a whole bunch of liquidations at different price points. And we're looking at XBT USD. So any of the sells that you see that are getting liquidated, they're short positions. Sorry, opposite. Liquidated short. Any of the buys you see, because price is going back to that point, so it's buying. The sell is obviously what you do when you're going short. So any of these levels here, so there's a 335k liquidation, 223k liquidation, and you can see here 4399, 4395, 4391, 4385, 1.6 million liquidation. Okay, so this is why these levels are important when you're looking at what's going to happen with price, because what happens is it forms the market continuation. Okay, so if we smash through, if we just, you know, wick up to 4,500, 4,600 thereabouts, you're going to see a crap load of liquidations in that area, and what that does is it's going to allow the market to fuel and continuation on. Then you get a bit of a trend change, you get people jumping on the long side instead of the short side, you get the fear of missing out happening, and that's why the market during the short sell-off went into panic, because the same thing happens. You get people getting liquidated going long, still going long, you're getting people panic selling out of the market, you're getting people going back to tether, so on and so forth. So every little price point that gets smashed through, or every little barrier that gets smashed through, effectively fuels the market till its next support and resistance level. So what we want to be watching around this price point here is purely what's happening with the liquidation side, but also you can track it via in TradingView. If you go BTC USD short and long, it'll show you the Bitcoin shorts and longs. Okay, and shorts are now at pretty much a new high since let's say about 5 or 6 weeks ago. So shorts are now at a new high since 5 or 6 weeks ago, when we had another big sell-off. Before that, our all-time highs of shorts are around 40k, obviously during big moves in the market. So once we start to approach those levels again as well, you start to see if things get liquidated, the higher this gets, okay, the more short positions that there are, if price moves up and liquidates positions, the more the move up will be. Vice versa with the sell-off as well. The more longs there are, okay, the more longs that get liquidated, the more the sells will take over the market and plummet price further. So we're at a bit of a, cool point. This is either going to fuel the market to the upside, and we may see a move up to 5k, 5,500, maybe 6k again, which was our previous nice level of support. That 6k level was very strong support for a long time. Or we basically, this price point here ends up turning into, this price point here ends up basically being protected by people just throwing more shorts into the market, and then this ends up being ahead. We end up developing a right shoulder. We're at our previous, support level again here, and then we end up basically selling off back down to 3,600 kind of level. So we just wait to see what happens and make a decision based on it. If we break above this and we start to get a lot of short liquidations, look for a pullback, and I might even trade it long from here for a small position. If we break back below here, same thing with the shorts. If we get a nice head and shoulder pattern followed by a bearish engulfing. From this point, I'll probably look to short back down to, you know, that 3600 level. So there's two different plays here to keep an eye on, guys. Make sure you're watching the price action. Keep updated with what's happening. Any questions in the chat, guys? Just throw a question out. No worries. If anyone's got any questions, or even if you've got any questions on other coins, the lives that I'm going to be doing over the next couple of weeks are going to be charting up a lot of the altcoins that I'm going to be following. Because we're starting to get to the point where most of our altcoins are now either in extremely good value areas, even for people who are just looking to buy and hold those coins, or looking for dollar cost averaging in, or same thing with Bitcoin cost averaging in to lower their overall average. We're getting to some very good levels on a lot of coins. You know, I was just looking at Syscoin earlier, because I also run a couple of Syscoin Masternodes, and we're now, you know, this 900 level, we're now at our levels before Binance chart is no good because Syscoin hasn't been on there long enough. Syscoin, let's go Syscoin Poloniex. We're now at our levels around 900-ish, where we were before, you know, we're lower than what we were before the last bull run last year, and we're now down at price points from early 2017 when the first massive bull run happened in the market as well for altcoins. So we're down at that level. So coins like these that have come back down to these levels, you've got to remember, guys, coins like Syscoin, where people are buying the coin with their Bitcoin and so forth, when coins get back down to these same kind of levels, it ultimately means most of these people who have bought from down at these levels and even these levels have sold off at some point, and we're getting back down to here. Then you get other guys who have bought throughout these other ranges. They've obviously sold off in a loss. So once we get back down to basically our previous starting points, it's almost like a refresh of the market. The market's, you know, ready to go. Next pump on this coin. You know, this coin can easily, it's hit 6,000 Satoshis many times. So, you know, things like this are looking at like a six times run next bull market. Okay, if you wanna understand how to trade and how to be in a position for the next bull run at least, guys, I've got a completely free trading course, Startcrypto.online. Sign up, absolutely free. All you need is a name and an email address. Go to trading content, go to beginner's course. This beginner's course is suited for a bull market. Okay, this beginner's course, if you use this beginner's course, you can go and back test it if you like. For anyone skeptical out there, if you go and back test this strategy during a bullish market, if you go and back test this strategy during a bullish market, you'll see it performs extremely well. So even if you don't understand what you're doing during the bearish run, once we head into a bullish market, if you've at least gone through the training, you understand it, where, you know, you're going to make some good coin during the run. Hey Fraz, what's up, man? What was the time frame from the last run? So time frame from on Syscoin, for example, we're down at this price point here. The last bull run was 12 months ago. So back in October, November, we started to see massive accumulation and a lot of pumps on coins. The previous one before that was around that March, April time. March, April, May time. And we tanked back down in sort of June, July. And then we got ready for another run in October, November. So, you know, bull run, we don't like to put time frames on things like this, but when prices get back down to these price points, you know, they've got a massive upside potential for a minimal downside potential. So coins like this are good. And Syscoin, you know, it's a good coin. It's obviously using it's obviously active in the marketplace. They're on Binance, so they're on the most volatile exchange. They are using their coin for real world stuff at the moment. XRP, sell. Good added long on XRP. So I did discuss today Ripple shorts. I'm looking to short. Which is XRPZ. So I'm now looking for a retrace on Ripple to get in to short the market. Got a long, short. These are all tiny values. Same thing with Ripple here. There'll be, you know, people that have gone long from these points. If they haven't cashed out, if they haven't taken profit at any of these levels and prices turning back around, you're gonna have, you know, stop losses pretty much where price is now, just above and below 8,800. Once we break through that, bang, we get more of a sell-off. We want to get a retest though. We want to get a pullback, get into the market. We're not buying, we're not shorting the market here where we are now. The move has already started to happen. We're not getting in now. If you get in now on this move, you know, you've already missed the move effectively. If you're not in there, you want to wait for a pullback to get in. So I'm watching currently Ripple short. We want to watch a Bitcoin. Where are we? What chart go? XBT USD. Okay, so we've just wicked up to 44.21. 44.23 is our current high. So on a 4-hour time frame, we've still got 10 minutes to close. If we close where we are now, that's a massive, nice bullish candle. Okay. And from a daily perspective, yesterday's daily candle was massively bullish. I went over that in the video today, guys. It was our largest volume. Where's my volume indicator? It was our largest volume in the last like 5 or 6 weeks for the upside indicator volume. So this day's volume candle was the biggest day volume candle we've had since mid-October. So it was about 6 weeks ago. The last big positive volume candles before that that gave us an up move is basically right back, you know, July, April, those kind of times. And again, what we're looking for here, if we go over this, if we break above here, shorts start to get liquidated. We look for a retest down around here somewhere. For me to get long from there to go up to, you know, for me to go up to start targeting these previous levels here, 5,400, 5,500. So all through here, that would be a kind of a possible take profit zone. And then of course our massive 6K zone here, which we've hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, over 10 times on that level. So that's a very, very significant level. That, if I was going long, that would definitely be one of my take profit levels. And then I would again look to see what the market does from there. If we break through it, again, break and retest to get back in with the trend, or we get a reversal again and go short again. So it's just playing the market, guys, playing what the market is showing us, playing what everyone else is doing. Anyone else got any questions on any other coins? So we've kind of covered something about Syscoin. We've covered Bitcoin. I've covered Ripple. Over the last few days, guys, I don't know if you've got time to go back over them on my channel. The last few days, the last few sessions, sorry, we've started to add BitMEX pairs as well into our watch list. So I've created all these new coins from scratch and started charting them up from scratch to show you how I do all my charting and everything. Show you guys how to add the trend lines in, show you guys how to use the Fibonacci, show you guys how to use support and resistance levels correctly. Anyone got any questions, guys? So we've got our 4-hour candles closing in 6 minutes. Got daily. Four hours closing in 6 minutes. 1 hour, this is Ripple again, guys. 1 hour is very bearish. Again, we're almost approaching those stops. Let's have a look at our rect. So not many liquidations at the moment. We had a couple of decent short liquidations, but in the grand scheme of things, these are actually very small compared to what you normally see getting taken out. So in the last 30 minutes, that's 60k, 240, 300, 600, 900, 1.6, so 2.5, 2.8, 3, 3.3, probably about 3.5 mil, which isn't much in terms of liquidations, because most of those are probably leverage trades as well. So not huge. It's kind of what I'm looking at the moment. In the next sessions, guys, we'll start charting up. So we'll add like our top 20. We'll add our top 20 market cap coins in. We will add the rest of our BitMEX pairs in. Okay. Pretty sure on the last session I did Bitcoin Cardano, Bitcoin Cash, EOS. Don't think I got to Ethereum. No. Yeah, and then added Ripple as well, because I'm specifically watching Ripple. So shorts on Ripple can be massive because it's one of the latest coins that's pumped up massively in Satoshi value, you know, over the last few weeks for no real good reason. So yeah, we can definitely crank out some shorts there. Again, guys, we're shorting shorts plus we're shorting and longing ability on BitMEX, and we're mainly trading altcoins on Binance, which won't let me send my link to the chat. So higher Satoshi value comes from basically what the Satoshi value is the coin's price in Bitcoin. So let's see round figures, for example, with Ripple recently spiked up to 0.0001 of a Bitcoin. Okay, so one XRP coin is worth 0.0001 of a Bitcoin. The way the Satoshi value increases is purely through supply and demand. So people buying the token. So when, you know, back in early October, the coin was trading at 6,000. You know, dropped down to 6,000 Satoshis, and it spiked up to 10,500 over the last couple of weeks, just over a week ago. So, you know, that's increased about 80%, 85%. Now, for us to be in a bearish market at the moment, and a coin like Ripple, which is number 2 on the market cap, to increase that much in value, because we're not, I mean, we're bullish in crypto overall as a long-term scheme of things, and that could mean, you know, over the next 3 to 5 years, like, crypto is massively bullish. But right now we're still in a bearish market as far as technical analysis is concerned, and for us to increase in a coin that is that high in the market cap over a couple of week period, it just means the coin is basically pumped up. People have seen the coin moving, they get fear of missing out, they jump into the coin. Now is the time when all these guys that have been buying down at these 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 levels, they would have been taking profits along the way. So what this coin is going to basically do is, you know, we're going to get some decent pullbacks on the coin. So for me, I'm looking to short Ripple from, you know, where it is now. If we get a pullback to the upside, I'll be looking to short down, back down to, you know, 8,000 to 7,000. I'll be looking to take profit around those levels. Ripple has been down low many times before, so it's definitely achievable in terms of short. So the short play opportunity is definitely there. For price to pump up even higher than what it is now, I don't really see much of that happening unless we enter, unless this is the start of the turnaround for the bull run, and then, you know, possibly go higher. But we're still bearish overall at the moment, so the chances of that happening are less than the short opportunity that this presents me. So obviously risk management comes into play. I use a small portion of my capital to trade this to the downside. If it gets stopped out, it doesn't matter to me. You know what I mean? We're using good risk management. JC Stander, I'm buying and selling on the 55 EMA line, crossing the 8, 13, and 21 EMAs. What EMAs are you using and on which time interval? So all of those EMAs that you're using are non-standard time frame EMAs. 8 is close to Bitfinex, Binance. I think Binance uses a 7 from memory. Some of the other trading platforms use a 10 and a 20. 13, not sure. Standard EMA that most professional traders use is 50 EMA and 200 EMA. So they're the two that I use. This moving average 7 that is on my chart, that's because of Binance. So Binance default charts, when people are using the Binance charts, they have a 7 time frame moving average on them. As far as EMAs are concerned, though, yeah, most trading courses and things that you'll learn about online will use a 50 and a 200 EMA. So I use a 50 and a 200 EMA. That's how I've learned. That's how I've been taught through Forex. And as more and more technical and institutional traders move over to the crypto markets, you'll see the same sort of thing happen. So you want to be in tune with the other professional traders from other markets that are coming over as well. And you want to be using the indicators that most people are going to be using. Like, the thing with indicators are all indicators are laggy, okay, regardless of what indicators you're using. So the first thing we want to be checking is pure price action. What's happening with the candles, what's happening with the candlestick patterns, okay, that's price action. And then you add your indicators on over the top to form what's called confluence. And confluence is when indicators line up to what you're seeing in the market with price action to give you that extra level of confidence to say, okay, yep, I've got 1, 2, 3 indicators that line up with my price action, and you know that tells me that we have a high probability set up in the market for that trade to take place. So yeah, I definitely recommend using 50, 200. If you're using the EMAs that you've got on now and you're successful with them, that's great. All the power to you. But I would definitely at least add the 50 and the 200 in there as well. So I'd probably change your 55 to a 50 and then add the 200 in there as well. Can you emphasize a little bit on where those time frames have come from? Like, is it from other trading courses? Is it from other default chart platforms? Is it just something you've learnt somewhere else? Like, where do those time frames come from specifically? Because if we just go EMA, moving average exponential, so the default, even the default EMA time frame on TradingView is 9. So again, there's nothing wrong with using a 9 time frame EMA, because what happens is every single person that comes on and uses a trading platform, TradingView is one of the largest charting trading platforms in the world. Okay, it's used by, you know, ridiculous amounts of people. You want to be using default timeframes on stuff. It's like when people go ahead and change RSI, which is this relative strength index chart down here. It's when, you know, the default time frame for RSI is 14. The default length, I should say. When people start mucking around with RSI timeframes and then saying that a specific trade that they've seen lines up with this, lines up with this time frame, in hindsight, it's very easy to pick indicators that line up to a specific trade that has already happened or taken place. So what you want to do is you want to use your indicators to line up with other professional traders in the market that are looking for the other upcoming opportunity, okay? Because they're not using the you know, different time frames and stuff in actual live presence a lot of the time. It's like, okay, well, I've added these indicators on my chart, and then now I can see why that move happened, but then on other moves it doesn't line up as well. So seen it from another trader, it's working well. I think it's got something to do with the fib lines. Yeah, so I mean, if you've seen it from another trader and it's working well for your specific strategy, keep using it. But if you're asking from scratch and you're learning from scratch, I wouldn't be using those time frames. If you're using those time frames already and you're already successful and you're already doing well, continue using them. Adapt in at least the 200 EMA in there as well, because what you get when the 50 and the 200 EMA cross are what's called golden cross and death cross. Golden cross is when the 50 EMA is crossing to the upside, and then the death cross is when the 50 EMA is cutting over through to the downside. So you want a death cross is like a bearish signal, a golden cross is like a bullish signal. So you want to have at least that in your reservoir of long-term setup analysis as well. So yeah, the 55, probably change it to 50 and then add 200 in there. So that's another thing with my fib lines as well. So I use fib extensions. I use fib extensions in line with support and resistance levels for my take profit zones as well. So my fib levels here have a minus 0.27 and a minus 0.618. And that's to do with when we get a certain retrace back to certain Fibonacci levels, the extension generally hits or goes close to the fib extension as well, as long as there's a support and resistance level that lines up with that as well. So again, the fib extension is like an extra level of confluence to be used with support and resistance zones, which I use. So where are we at with? This is the Ripple chart. If we get a nice if we get a nice pullback here in line with, we get a nice pullback here in line with these, with either of these trend lines, with a nice fib retracement, with any of our EMAs acting as dynamic support and resistance. If we get RSI oversold, for example, those sorts of things. Are we looking to short this market on Ripple? Either, you know, for me, I don't see, it's 10 p.m. here now. Probably don't see a setup forming tonight. I'll have to check in the morning. 10 p.m. I'll check late before bed. We might get a bit of an up move here. Check our rect again. So we're just looking for massive. We're just looking for big figures. We're not worried about all these little tiny crappy orders because they don't move the market at all. Let's have a look at our longs again. So our long positions. Our short positions. Again, the long and the short indicator, or long and the short positions that are open, they're more used as a, you know, almost like an RSI thing really, like whether they're overbought or oversold. You don't obviously enter trades based on the shorts and the longs that are open, but it gives you an idea of, it gives you an overall perspective of what the market is doing. The thing that this doesn't take into consideration is obviously this is the amount of long and short positions that are open. It's not the value of them. So this is the amount of positions. You know, these shorts, they could be 35,000 positions that are $10 each. The longs, you know, they could be 29,000 positions with $100 each. So obviously the long values outweigh the short values in that regard, if that was the case. So yeah, it doesn't take into consideration the value of what the positions are. It takes into account the actual number of positions. So again, it's just another thing to watch in the market. The other thing, BCHSV, we've had a couple of good moves on that. I got in on one of the first moves. I did a video on 4x trading opportunity you could have taken before the Bitcoin Cash fork. This is now going back a couple of weeks because it was on the 15th, so 2 weeks ago. Did a video. Poloniex opened up trading on BCH, BCHSV. I ended up getting in at about 0.00175 or 18 or something, and I sold off at 0.02888, which is about up here. I did have a second sell order at 0.03888, which we missed by a very small amount. We got to 0.03855. I had mine at 0.30388. So it was very close to hitting my second sell, which would have been, so my first order was a plus 55% gain. My second order was a plus 110% gain. And I ended up canceling that sell order and just selling back out. By the time the market had got back down to 0.029 or something like that, I ended up just closing the trade. So I made about 60% total on that move. That was the only move that I took on the Bitcoin Cash hard fork. Now that we've seen, you know, we don't have much data on this, but now that we've seen, effectively, you could call this a massive, you know, this is our lows. We could call this a massive double bottom zone area kind of thing. If we get back down to these kind of levels again, this 0.00, this 0.01, I'll probably set some buy orders on that. There's an easy double money gain to be had there if you get in buy orders down around 0.01. If you've got buy orders down there and we get a nice wick down to there, there's an easy potential for 0.02. What you've got to remember with Bitcoin Cash is, effectively, I see, even though Bitcoin Cash, ABC, won the fork war, won blah blah blah, they're still effectively the same coin. Like Bitcoin Cash SV is a fork of Bitcoin Cash, and they're making some changes. So what I see long term for both coins is a bit of an equilibrium. As long as SV continues with their development, whatever they're going to do, I see both of them still being in the market. It's like Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash. Like Bitcoin Cash isn't going to take over Bitcoin. Bitcoin is not going to disappear because Bitcoin Cash is there. Now we've got 2 Bitcoin Cashes. So just more trading opportunity. Anybody else got any questions? Who's online? Thanks for the questions so far as well, guys. Happy to answer anything. Doesn't even have to be about trading. Can be about mining. Can be about masternodes. Doesn't necessarily need to be about trading. Happy to cover any crypto topic. Can be about new coins. Give me an article. Thoughts on an article, thoughts on news, thoughts on whatever. There's so many good buying opportunities at the moment across most of the altcoins. Ethereum is just ridiculously low. Getting back down to our lows from September and we're basically down at our lows from before the last bull run again in December. See if anything's changed. Oh, that's Ripple Binance. I want PCH. No. XRPZ18. So yeah, what we want to see here is, we'll get rid of this arrow. What we want to kind of see here is we want to see a pullback. We want to see a pullback back to around, the 50% fib would be beautiful. 50 to 61.8% fib would be beautiful, and we want to see if we get a retest of this previous support zone here. If we get a nice retest of this previous support zone here, if it lines up with this, with this trend line is not a very strong trend line, obviously. It's only got 3 touches from the extreme high, from the extreme wick. So I'm not putting much emphasis on that trend line. This trend line is much better. Obviously that goes a much higher pullback area, to hit that trend line would play out across a much longer period of time. If we just wick straight up from where we are now, right back up to this trend line, we'd need to see some pretty good stuff. So, if we get something over here that even coincides with the 5061.8, that would be beautiful as well. That's obviously going to play out over a much longer time frame. So that definitely means not something to buy tomorrow. Max Rect, is there any large ones? Liquidated long. So 500,000 liquidated long. So again, this is people jumping in longs too early because they've seen the move. Their fear of missing out. Where's our XBT USD? So these guys got liquidated 4322 and 4329. 4322, 4432 and 4439, which is like right here. So they would have bought literally right at the top of that move, and they've been liquidated already. So that's kind of what I'm looking at the moment, guys. No more questions on the stream, so we're probably going to call it there. 50-minute live, just to update you guys. Did a live today as well, so I'm going to take off here. My little one's just having a bit of a cough, so I'll go check on him, take off. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Peace out. Have a good night. Good luck trading. Hopefully we get some good opportunity on those things we've discussed tonight. If you missed it, go over and rewatch the video, guys. And happy trading. Take it easy. Good night.